Hi, welcome to Networking Week. I'm your host, JJ Peller. That was really corny. I'm sorry, but I had to do it. It was fun. I love the elevator thing. You know, remember from like Austin Powers, like ding, ding. I just always think that's really entertaining for me. So you probably didn't laugh at all, but I got something out of it. So there you go. Anyways, if you recall, for my video yesterday, I claimed this week to be Networking Week. Why? Because I'm going down to my alma mater this coming Saturday to speak to, I think, 150. Tyler, confirm what that number is for me. I'm not sure. Several, at least, prospective students for Wabash College. And they really want to reiterate the power of a network, and then more specifically, the strength of the Wabash network. And I really do believe in networking and connections and relationships and figuring out how you can create more value for more people through the interactions that you have with other individuals. And that's why I really want to promote networking, especially this week. And a lot of what I talk about can really be translated into how you can network more effectively. When I talk about mindset, attitude, communication with other people and with yourself, that's all related to networking and relationship development. So every day of this week, I'm going to share a little tip, trick, or thought on networking. And for today, I want to talk about starting those conversations because, as I mentioned it yesterday, there's a ton of value that we can gain from any conversation. Not just what are the opportunities I'm going to get, but in this conversation, in and of itself, what value can we, I, and the other individual take and squeeze out of this conversation? And I think it's important. I also want to highlight that I don't think it's just about me getting value and you getting value in our interaction. But more importantly, yes, there has to be mutual benefit to the conversation, but more importantly, there has to be value created outside of that. And I think any good interaction that you have with another individual has the potential to create more value for more people outside of your interaction. Just think of it like a very simple, corny example, but you throw a pebble into a pond and you get ripple effects. I think that's the same thing that happens anytime we interact with another individual. We have those ripple effects because we get a new perspective on life. We get a new thought about what's possible, what's not possible, and eliminating beliefs that don't propel us forward. And then further than that, getting ideas, thoughts, and perspectives on what can help us to move forward and take other action that can create that value that we're looking for in that specific relationship and even outside of that relationship. So I think there's a ton of value I want to reiterate in those interactions and a ton of value that comes from those interactions as we move away from the conversation and start to take action in our own lives. The thing I want to point out is I understand your challenge. Most people I talk with, let's say it, almost 99% have told me when I ask the question, what is your biggest challenge in networking? The answer? Can you guess? Maybe it's your answer too. You have a thought? What's your biggest challenge? Is it starting the conversation? Is it trying to figure out how you can get that ball rolling and moving in the direction of having a good quality conversation? Most people tell me that, yeah, I can have a good conversation with anybody. I just have no clue how to get the ball rolling and start that conversation. I don't really feel comfortable. I don't feel confident walking up to another individual. And I come across that more often than not. Vast majority of the time, that is the biggest challenge people run into when it comes to networking and connecting with other individuals at social events, at business events, in any kind of scenario, even if it's not specifically a networking event, just out in public at a coffee shop or grabbing lunch. How do you start those small conversations to get the ball rolling to the point where you can find out if you're able to create value for that person and beyond yourselves through further interactions? So how do you start a conversation? Later on, I'll go through some more specific strategies, but I want to throw this out there. The best way to start any conversation is to make the decision to go first. Go first. It's an idea that you can play in your head over and over and over again and understand and solidify that if you just make the decision to go first in any interaction, you will make good things happen. What do I mean by that? If you are at a networking event, if you're at a social event and people are just hanging around at different tables, picking at food, there are some conversations going on in the corner over there, there's another conversation going over there, there's a large group of people, there's no one individual standing by him or herself, and you're also just there. You're just standing there. You've got a beverage in your hand. Maybe you've got the appetizer plate with the little meatballs and the sauce on it, and maybe some shrimp, maybe some salsa, mini corn. I don't know. I don't know what your preference is. I don't know what's available at this particular event. But let's just say you're there with some food and a beverage, and you're like, gosh, who do I start a conversation with? How do I start this conversation? First thought that should go through your mind is, go first. Walk up to somebody and make it simple. Smile. Have you tried that? You know, I found that the easiest way to invite somebody in to have a conversation with you is just to open up to them. Let them know that you're willing to have a conversation. You are willing and open to some type of interaction with that person. The easiest way to do that is just to smile. Put on a smile that says, I'm warm, I'm welcoming, and I'm open to having conversation with anyone who's willing to walk up to me and start that conversation. So I think you should recognize that a lot of people at networking events have that same thought. Unless they really already know many of the people there, they're probably a little bit tentative themselves. In fact, I would guess that the other people in that room are even more afraid of walking up and saying hi to you than you are of walking up and saying hi to them. It kind of changes the mindset, doesn't it? If you recognize that you can be the light and the value in that room by being the person that goes first every single time, walking up to someone, smiling, and just saying, hi, my name is, fill in the blank with whatever your name is. Hi, my name is JJ, what's your name? And I'll have other videos that talk about starting and getting that conversation rolling, but the first thing you can do to get that interaction started is to just go first. Be the first person to smile. Be the first person to reach out your hand and say hello. Be the first person to give your name. Be the first person to ask for their name. Just go first and good things will happen for you for the rest of that event, and then it will become easier and easier and easier for you to start conversations. You'll realize that you're natural, you're a pro at starting those conversations and getting the ball rolling. And as you become that person that's always willing to go first, you'll be seen as that person, and more people will start to feel comfortable with coming up to you and saying hi themselves because they recognize that you're open to those conversations and interactions. Go first. It'll make a huge difference if you're not already that person making that effort initially to start a conversation. It can be hugely impactful for you and your ability to connect with more of the right people in order to open up more of the best opportunities for yourself. You know what I'm about to say, don't you? Have fun, be awesome, and network hard.